it's Jasmine. So today I have a challenge video that I really want to do. I promised you guys that I'd do this months and months ago, but for some reason I forgot about it. And then when I saw this palette, I was like, oh yeah, I promised that I would do it. So here it is. I'm going to try and do a full face using this palette. This is the Morphe 24G Grand Glam palette. If you're unfamiliar what it looks like this. It is a pretty neutral palette, but I bought this with the intentions of I can really use this on my face and eyes and travel with it, but I realized that I can't really travel with this because the palette size is actually really ginormous and it doesn't fit in anywhere, so that makes me kind of anxious because I don't want it to crack or I don't want it to break. Compared to the other Morphe palettes, I believe this one after tax is around like $35, and that's really expensive for Morphe, but the pan size are really big, so it kind of compensates in that way. Now for this video in particular, I wanted to do a full face of this like I mentioned, but I'm going to exclude anything liquid, so like foundation, concealer, you know what I mean, things of that nature. For foundation, I have my concoction of my Bare Minerals foundation with my Fenty Foundation. You guys know I've been trying to use up my Bare Minerals as much as possible. It's getting to the point though where I'm actually having to pour out the Bare Minerals foundation as opposed to pump out, which I'm so excited for. You guys know I love to go through my products. It's the best feeling ever. So with the extra foundation on the back of my hand, I just like to take it off with a sponge and apply it anywhere where I need more coverage. And that right now for me is my chin and this part of my cheek. And then, as most of you guys know, that Covergirl concealer, you can't even see the concealer in the tube, which is so weird, but it keeps cranking out. So I'm just going to use the Vitalist concealer under my eyes, on my chin, a little bit on my forehead. And then with that Naked Skin, this is going to brighten up and add a little bit more coverage to that Covergirl concealer. And I just apply it like that, and then I'm just going to blend it out. Now let's go into the Grand Glam palette. Now I'm going to show you guys what this looks like again. Now the whole top part is all shimmer. Some are way more shimmery than others, like kind of a metallic. And then you have more of a satin shade right here. And we only have like one cream shade up here. It's darker than how my camera is picking up. But I'm going to go ahead and set this color under my eyes. And hopefully it's going to take away some of that brightness that I have. It's going to look really weird. I don't like this. It also has like a peachy orange undertone, so I'm not sure if that's going to make me look sick or not, but if it does, then I'll just bring my blush a little higher. The good thing is we have a lot of options for brow powder. Now I'm going to initially go into this shade right here as a base, and then I'm going to deepen it up with the shade right here, which I find is a really good shade to really emphasize those fake hairs like I normally do. So to add the base color, I'm going to use my Real Techniques brow brush, and this is a really thick brow brush, so it's going to help disperse the color as much as possible. This made my eyebrows look really warm, but as far as depth is concerned, this is how deep I want it to be. So we're going to go into that darker shade like I mentioned, and I'm going to take my Sigma E75 brush, and this is a really thin eyebrow brush, and I'm going to go ahead and do those fake brow hairs, and that is going to mask the warmness of my eyebrow. I'm really liking the way my eyebrows are looking, I'm not going to lie. I expected a little bit less out of this, but I'm just going to go ahead and do my normal concealer where I just conceal the bottom portion of my eyebrow to make it look a little bit more crisp and clean. I'm actually going to take that color that we use to set under our eyes as a transition shade because this is a little bit darker than my actual skin tone, and it's also a different type of undertone, so it is going to show through as a very light transition. I'm going to use this shade as a transition, and low-key I want to do a halo eye today. I have no real reason why I never want to do halo eyes, because I feel like on me personally, halo eyes don't look as flattering as a cut crease or a half cut crease because I have really small eyelids, and I feel like girls who have bigger eyelids have a bigger advantage than I do. But I'm just going to start with this as my transition, and I'm going to deeply buff this in. I'm just going to bring this into my crease, and I'm going to fade it up into that transition. By the way, I'm taking this on my For Less ME3, and as you could see, I'm going really into this inner corner area, and I'm going to do the same for the outer corner. That's pretty much what you want to do whenever you're going to go in with your crease shade. By the way, I thought I should mention this, but the formula of this palette compared to their 35 palette, their 25 palette, and their 9 palette, I like this formula way better because it's not dry. I feel like their palettes, especially their eyeshadows, age really poorly, but they start off pretty dry and not as creamy. Yes, there may be 1 or 2 shades, maybe 5 shades in their bigger palettes that are very creamy, but all of these colors, whether it is a matte or whether it is a shimmer, they're all really creamy and very easy to blend, which I found was very different from their other palettes. I'm going to take the shade right next to it, and I'm going to go ahead and define my crease, inner corner, and outer corner with this shade, and I'm going to really focus this. I switched my brush into a very small pinpoint blending brush, and this should give me the precision that I need because this is going to be a little bit lower than that other transition shade that we had. Just in the inner and outer corner, I'm going to take this red toned brown, and I'm just going to go ahead and apply that over those other 2 crease shades. And again, it's in the inner corner and outer corner only. I'm going to use my Covergirl concealer to do the halo eye because it already has a brush, so it's really convenient. I just deposited some of the concealer on the back of my hand, and I'm just going to coat both sides of the brush with concealer. And I'm going to start really high up where my crease isn't even existing, and I'm going to bring this down. I legitimately just did not breathe. So if you're gonna do a halo eye, prepared to have a good respiratory system. Unlike my other halo eyes, I'm not going to do one color on the concealer. I'm actually going to do 2 dark layers on the outer corner of the concealer, and then in the middle I'm going to do a really bright color so that the main focus is right in the center of my eyes. I don't know why like my hands are doing this, but just so you guys can visualize with me with what I'm thinking. So I really want to play around with this shade down here. It's a really dark brown, and it has these olivey gold pigments in it, and I think it's really pretty. So that's what's going to go on the outer corner of the concealer. And then right in the center, I'm going to take this top shade right here. It's a champagne gold. I'm not sure if I want to go in with winged eyeliner today, so I'm actually just going to go ahead and start working on my lower lash line. So I'm going to take that first transition color, and I'm going to go ahead and apply this right under my eyes. And I'm also going to connect this to the outer corner of my upper lid. With that color that we used to set under our eyes, I'm going to take that color again, and right on the edge of that color that we placed, I'm just going to go ahead and smooth this right under the eye to blend it out. And I'm also going to use this color to blend this shade up towards my temple. I'm going to go in with that reddened brown, and I'm going to line this right where my eyelashes grow. Then I'm going to blend that out with the second darkest transition shade that we used, and this is going to make everything look a little bit more smoky. I'm going to take another light shimmer from the palette, and I'm going to apply this into the inner corner as well as my brow bone. I remember in high school I used to be a brow bone highlight girl, but I don't know what happened. I like stopped for a minute, and I'm going to bring it back for this look because I feel like it's going to bring a lot of attention towards the halo. So I think I decided I'm not going to do a winged eyeliner, so instead I am going to do 2 different eyeliners. I'm going to do Khol liners today. These are by the brand MyLookingGlass. You can follow me on the app if you want to. And these ones are just in the color black and brown. Brown's going to go on my lower waterline, and black is going to go on my upper waterline. I'm going to use the Essence Lash Princess Mascara to prep my lashes for fake ones. This one's my favorite mascara. It's my ride or die. Can't live without her. She's the best. So I just applied my Juno&Co lashes number 12. These are still drying, so I'm going to go ahead and start bronzing, blushing, and highlighting. I think it's only natural that I go in with this shade right here. I'm not going to take too much because she's really, really warm. I'm going to go ahead and buff her into my skin. Again, it was more like 2 taps, a tap off, and then now I'm like really severely blending. And then for the forehead, I'm going to start really close to my hairline. And I'm really going to try and blend this in. Because I have used this as bronzer before. And I had times where it was just way too pigmented. And once it's on the face, it's pretty much budge proof. So that's why I am really, really blending. With a big fluffy brush, I'm going to go ahead and brush out the edges. As you can see, it's starting to get really warm and almost like yellowy orange. For blush, I'm going to mix in this satin shade right here, tap it off a lot, mix it in with a skin tone shade. Yeah. And that's my blush. And as most of you guys know, I don't like an intense blush, so this one is pretty much good for me. And this was the shade that I applied in my inner corner, so I'm actually going to do this one as highlight. And I'm going to go in. This one I feel like looks really good in the lighting right here, but once I turn my face, it has like a gray undertone. So I'm probably going to go on top of that with something else. I'm just going to blend it out with the bigger brush first. So it's a little bit more dispersed and it looks a little bit more like skin. And honestly, I think that might have done the trick. Blended into the bronzer and blush doesn't give it, I don't know, that gray effect as much anymore. I'm going to add some final touches to the look, like some brow gel, just so that my hairs look real. A little bit of bottom mascara. And finally, a nude lip. This one is from that Dose of Colors mini Lego lip set that I talked about, the, I think, Let's Get Toasty. This one is in the shade Catching Feelings. And that wraps up the tutorial, you guys. I hope you guys all really enjoy. I really do love this palette in particular by Morphe. I feel like if their shadows were of this quality in their 35 palette, their 25 palette, their 9 palette, then I think that this would actually top off all of the other companies who have big palettes like this. I feel like it would be more worth the money. But then again, this palette was like 35 bucks, and that is kind of expensive for what, 24 shades? Yeah. I do think that is worth it because it's like $1 and some change for each pan. But you know what? Besides that, I really do enjoy the look, and I hope you do as well. I hope you guys find some inspiration to use your 24G palette at home if you have it. I know some of you guys told me that you have it, but you guys want to see a tutorial using it. I hope this one fulfilled and exceeded your expectations, because I don't really like halo eyes, but I think that this one on me, I feel like it looks really, really flattering. So I hope you guys all enjoy the look, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye! Peace out, Girl Scouts.